Also now joined by Rajeev Chandrasekhar, former Minister of State for Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. And it's a massive global outage. We're seeing the kind of chaos that has been caused the world over. We do have information, from the center saying that MeitY is in touch with Microsoft and its associates, but we still have no clarity when things are going to get back on track.
Yeah, no, so I can't add to any clarity.
Yes, but your comments here.
Yeah, no, so I'm watching the same television and the online. I'm consuming the news as much as all of us are. Look, I think it is enough to say, and it's pretty appropriate to say that this is something that I have never seen in my life before. And I've been around the block for about 35 years. I've seen ups and downs in tech, and I've never seen anything this deep and this wide and this touching almost every nation and every small business and big business in this kind of way. I've never seen it before. And the fact that it is attributable finally to a small cybersecurity solution that sits on the endpoint of the cloud just tells you that what a complex digital world we live in, that it is not just enough to worry about the computer that you operate on or the server that it is hosting the application, but that every one of these pieces create complexity and create vulnerability at the same time. So, look, it is certainly a black swan event of a kind that I have never seen or experienced before. But the good news is it is Microsoft, and this is a large credible company, one of the big credible names in big tech, and they are slowly recovering this. It is now clear that it is this CrowdStike cybersecurity agent that was at fault, and that the patches will be created, and that the incompatibility with the Windows system that was being caused by the CrowdStrike update will be fixed. But it is certainly something that I have never seen before, and it has put a lot of small businesses and a lot of consumers at great disruption, inconvenience, and loss of money.
No, absolutely. It's possibly the largest we've seen, and it also shows how vulnerable we are, which is what you just pointed out. Yes, we're calling it a Microsoft outage, but as you said, yes, it's to do with a CrowdStrike, a cybersecurity firm whose, in fact, stocks have fallen. But what is the lessons from this now? And we still don't know the full extent of the impact this has had.
No, there are certainly lessons that as we continue the digitization of the world is digitizing at an unprecedented pace. We must also move the spotlight as much from innovation and access to these applications to resilience, to fail-safe, to redundant design built in, so that when the expectation is that a business depends on for 24/7 the availability of a platform, that the platform is designed to be available 24/7. That platform, not just as a platform and the cloud and its cybersecurity and the entire sum of parts must be trusted, must be safe. So I think that conversation, that discourse will start. The other discourse, I think that is a legitimate discourse, is why are we so dependent on only the Microsoft and the Googles and the Metas and these few handful of big tech companies? And why is there not enough adoption of Zoho, which is a designed and built in India company that does a very comparable set of enterprise software? So I think the conversation about this unrealistically unhealthy dependence on these platforms and having a lot more competition on these type of platforms is a legitimate conversation that needs to be had, because this concentration of risk, this concentration of all of this economic activity and digital activity just on a few platforms certainly can't be by any stretch of imagination healthy as we look to the future. So I think that is another conversation. One is the safety and trust of these platforms, and the second is this over-dependence on this handful of platforms that we need to in a sense, get de-addicted out of and diversify the basket.
Right, important points there going forward, but also were you relieved, because when the news first started coming in, we heard Sky News has gone off in our own offices, you had that blue screen happening, but were you relieved to know it was not, any kind of terror, any sort of, hacker, a global hacker attempt that took place here? seems at the moment to be an issue linked to what we're told CrowdStrike's Falcon sensor.
Yeah, no, look, I can tell you that I wake up and use my laptop early in the morning every day, and I open it up with a prayer and a prayer on my lip. Fortunately, my system was intact and was not impacted. Look, I think this is things are not going to be the same. The status quo as we knew it before the CrowdStrike event, we'll call it the pre-CrowdStrike world and the post-CrowdStrike world. I think things will change. Things have to change. And it may change in many different types of ways, including, like I said, increasing competition to these platforms. We will wait and see. But it is certainly something that has put a lot of small business, and I've heard from a lot of small businesses who are absolutely traumatized, who depend on their livelihoods and business on being available to their customers 24/7. Suddenly to have 2 hours disappear is not a small thing for them. It's a very, very big traumatic event in their lives and in their businesses. So I think this is something that Microsoft will have to step up and deal with. And of course, these cybersecurity companies that we all so depend on to keep ourselves safe will have to be held more accountable.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rajeev Chandrasekhar, there for speaking to us here on NDTV. It's a massive global crisis, as he described it, something that we're going to be talking about and for days to come, and looking for solutions given the widespread impact this has had, as we've been reporting to you, from flights to supermarkets to banking operations. This Microsoft outage, as we're describing it, though that might be a misnomer, given that it's to do more with cyber, with CrowdStrike, which is a safety platform and that Microsoft uses. So it seems the issue is more linked to that. Now, we have had a reaction from India's IT Minister, Ashwini Vaishnav, who did say that MeitY is in touch with Microsoft and its associates regarding the global outage. The reason for this outage has been identified and updates have been released to resolve the issue, and the CRT is issuing a technical advisory. NIC network is not affected. So that is what the IT Minister has said, and certain steps have been released by the CRT to go into your systems and find to navigate to the CrowdStrike directory and locate a certain file there. In fact, we'll have those steps up on the screens just to show you, and to delete it and then boot normally. However, this, as we've been showing you through the morning, has impacted airlines the most, because that's the most obvious example that we've seen. But as Rajeev Chandrasekhar described, that many small businesses are also impacted. Many companies, corporates have been impacted by this.